Welcome back to the Alexis Tipton Show, the only show you should be watching. So on today's video, I want to talk about my birth story with Amelia. It wasn't like horrendous. It wasn't like mortifying. Yeah, I feel like for a C-section, it went as good as it could. My due date was set for September 5th, 2024. That's when I hit 40 weeks. And prior to my due date, I think like 30 weeks in, I was already feeling contractions, which contractions honestly just feel like really bad period cramps. They are different from Braxton Hicks, but I know I was feeling contractions. The doctor told me that I was having early contractions. So obviously, naturally, at 30 weeks, that's gonna like alarm you, you know. I was already at risk for preeclampsia. I never went into preeclampsia, and I've never had a high blood pressure reading. So it still annoys me that they said I was at risk for it. But in a week before my due date, I was at my grandma's house. I was staying the night over there. I can't remember why. I don't know if I was like just being there with her because she needed some help. But, oh no, she went out of town. That's what it was. She went out of town for a week, so I was watching her house. She had came back, but when she came back, she was not feeling well. So, you know, we stayed home. I stayed with her. And I woke up. It was a Wednesday. It was 1 week. Not a full week. It was 6 days before my due date. And, all of a sudden, I just got the sharpest pains in my back. The period cramps, aka contractions, intensified so much. I was like, this is it. Like, I'm going into labor right now. Like, my water's gonna break or something. Like, this is it. Like, this pain is excruciating. And I had to breathe through it, obviously. And then, you know, you have to count your contractions or like how far apart they are. And I was counting them and they were low-key consistent. And I was like, Grandma, what do I do? Also, my birth partner was my cousin. And so I immediately was texting her like, dude, I don't know. I think this is it. And then my contractions ended up getting inconsistent, and then I was like, I need to take a nap. So I laid down because I was in so much pain. And plus the baby was so heavy at that point. Like, it was just straining on my body to like get up and down. Like, honestly, like for me, when I would see like super pregnant women like at the end of their pregnancy, I would be like, is it really that hard to get up? Like, is it really that much? But it really is. Like, it really is like that hard to get up. It's crazy. So I went and I laid down, and I think I slept for like an hour, maybe 30 minutes. I don't remember. But the pain went away when I woke up. I felt better. So obviously I did not go into labor that day. And then fast forward to literally a week later. It was a Wednesday, and I had went to church, and it was in the evening, and I was feeling like major cramping. Like, okay, this is really painful, but I was like, it's probably gonna go away. So after church got out, I went home, and I can't remember what I did, but I remember I didn't go to bed. I didn't go to bed until the contractions started really bad, 11 p.m. Wednesday, September 4th. But I was like, whatever, just roll with it. I stayed up that whole time. The contractions were consistent, but they weren't intense. Like, it wasn't as painful as what I had felt the week prior. I was like, I feel like that pain is gonna be more noticeable for labor than this pain. So I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. So then 3 a.m. rolls around. I finally go to sleep, and then by 6:45 in the morning, I am immediately woken up because I am in pain. and I like it's hurting. And I was like, I can't count if it's consistent, because it was low-key kind of irregular, but for the most part consistent. And September 5th was my due date. I was 40 weeks that day, and I was like, there's no way, like, she's not gonna be born today, like. But I had my bags packed. I don't know if you saw my hospital bag video. Like, I was ready. I had printed out multiple copies of my birth plan and the things that I wanted, the things I didn't want for me, for Amalia, like the whole nine. Like, I was prepared. And I asked my aunt, I was like, should I bring my bags? But I didn't want to like jinx it. Like, I didn't want to bring all my stuff, go to my appointment by myself, and then be sent home, you know, like that really would have like upset me. But the pain increased and got worse and worse and worse. And I had to go in anyways, because every Monday and Thursday I was scheduled for non-stress tests and amniotic fluid tests. I'm watching Mel on the monitor right now. She's moving. I should bring my bag. She said, yeah. Then I was like, I don't know. So then I went in for my non-stress tests, and on those they can track your contractions if you're having them. Like, it shows on the monitor. And I knew I was having them. And the nurse was low-key downplaying it. And I was like, girl, I know I'm having, like, I just know. Like, they finally started being real consistent on the monitor. Like, you could see. And so they sent me to triage. Also, fun fact, like I said, I had scheduled amniotic fluid tests and non-stress tests every Monday and Thursday. That Monday of the week, my amniotic fluid was at a 9, and it had been at like 12 throughout my pregnancy, so it was dropping. And I knew it was dropping because when I would wipe, I don't know if this is TMI, but I just want to help if you guys are real, like in my position, like a pregnant woman. There was like discharge, and you know, everyone tells you like, oh, you might lose your mucus plug, you'll see it when you go pee and things like that. But I never actually saw like a plug or a clump of something fall out, you know. I mean, I did pee in the dark a few times, but during the day and every time I peed, when I wiped, it was like really filled. And so I was like, I feel like I'm losing amniotic fluid. And then so that was Monday, I was at a 9, and then Thursday I went back in on my due date, and they checked my amniotic fluid, and I was at a 4. And I knew I was losing fluid. I knew it. Like, if you're pregnant, trust yourself. If this is your first pregnancy, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Do not feel like, oh, I'm gonna be a burden, or I'm overthinking, or it's my first pregnancy and I'm working. No, regardless if it's your first pregnancy, you know, like, you have those instincts. Follow those instincts, because it could be your baby's life. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to advocate. I'm trying to advocate for you to advocate for yourself, because they downplay things. They really don't. I personally feel like they don't take things seriously. Like, they think all the women that go in there are overthinking and just overdoing it because it's their first pregnancy and they don't know. But at the end of the day, we do have instincts, and you need to follow that and pray. Always pray. So yeah, so amniotic fluid was at a 4. Contractions were consistent. I think they were every 5 or 3 minutes. I can't remember. I went to triage, and then that's where they do further testing. And also, in my non-stress test, baby wasn't performing the way she was supposed to. So that was another reason why they sent me to triage. So then they do more stress tests. They hook up the monitors to my belly and see what's going on with her. And then my contractions were kicking up at this point. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. The pain was... it was at a 10. Like, I had a really bad... like, I have really bad cramps during my periods and stuff, especially growing up. And this was worse than that. Like, obviously it was worse than that. I'm just saying, like, it was that painful. Like, really, really painful. but I wasn't dilating. I was only a centimeter and a half dilated at that point. And I was like, this girl, like, I'm feeling like this, and I'm only a centimeter, almost 2 dilated. Oh, so we're in for a treat. But thankfully we weren't in for that much of a treat. So then the doctor, he called in for a BPP test. It's like a bio profile something. It's basically just a 30-minute ultrasound, and if your baby scores 8 out of 8, your baby's good. They're not gonna score 9 out of 8. They're like, it has to be 8 out of 8. If they score a 7 out of 8 or lower, they failed the test. There's no like exceptions. So my daughter was scoring 4 out of 8, and so that was basically like, she's not gonna withstand vaginal birth. So they scheduled a C-section, and I told them way prior to this, I don't mind a C-section. Like, I just kind of feel like I don't know, like, I feel like recovery would be way easier with the C-section, which recovery was fine. It was hard because I was by myself, but like, I was getting on my knees. I shouldn't have, because my wounds opened a bunch, but I had to bathe my kid. Like, I had no one else to help me. I wasn't gonna ask for help. I could, but if you're a mom and you become a mom, you know you don't really want to ask for help. At least not me. I don't know. Maybe some of you are okay with that. I'm not. I don't have a mom, and my dad, I'm not gonna ask my dad. So it was really just me, and I wasn't talking to my daughter's dad. I wasn't talking to my daughter's dad. For other reasons we're not going to get into. So, yeah. Anyway, they scheduled the C-section. From there, everything went, I mean, fast. Like, it was sign this, tell your partner, whoever it is, to come, bring your bags, do this, do that. And I was like, whoa, Nelly. Like, I need to, like, process that my baby is coming today. Like, I knew it was her due date and everything, but you know, it's not guaranteed that your baby's gonna come on their due date, you know, and you really don't know until it happens, unless you've scheduled a C-section prior to all of this. Then you know what's gonna happen. But my C-section wasn't scheduled. It was, I don't know, technically emergency, but it wasn't like life or death in those moments. But I think that's why it had to go by quick. So I called my cousin, told her to bring my stuff, and I'm trying to tell them like things that I don't want to happen. And I forgot to tell him, like, I want to be able to cut the cord, but I think for C-sections you probably don't get to do that anyways. But it's just the fact that I completely forgot to even ask or bring it up that upsets me, because it's like, maybe I could have had an opportunity, you know, like, you just don't know, because I never asked. So my cousin comes, and then the nurse starts prepping me for surgery. And it's just getting real raw and vulnerable. And my cousin, like, you know, she's as old as my mom. So she saw me as a baby being born. You know, she's seen all parts of me as a child. But as an adult, it's just different, you know. And she saw everything. Everything was happening so fast. And then once I was prepped, my cousin also had to get suited up because she was going to sit with me. So she had to get in a full suit, mask, head cap, etc. Even I don't remember, but I think her shoes even had to be covered. I don't remember. And so, sign the papers. I get up. I'm getting ready. Contractions are really intense, by the way. Like, at this point, I'm like, whatever you gotta do it. Like, let's get this kid going. So then they walk me to OR, and my cousin Nikki's already there. She's, you know, just watching. And then before my cousin could come in, they sent me, first of all, when I walk into this OR, it's obviously sterile, white, bright lights. Like, it felt like Willy Wonka like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the white room. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I'll try to insert a picture. Yeah, it was just like sterile, and it was cold, and I love the cold, but in that moment I was already like, you know, contractions were bad. So they sit me down. There's a nurse in front of me, and then everybody's behind me, the anesthesiologist, all of that. And they already kind of told me what was going to happen as far as like numbing for the surgery, but I had no idea the depth of that. So there's a nurse here. They give me a pillow, and I'm like crouched over like this with the pillow, and I have to like lean forward so they can put the needle in my back. I didn't feel the needle initially go in, but I felt the fluid come from the needle in my spine. That was the feeling. Really weird. It didn't hurt. It really did not hurt, like, at all. So if you're afraid of needles or you think it's going to be bad, that part's not. That part is the least of your worries. I'm telling you right now, that's the least of your worries. So they put it in, and immediately they lay me down. Immediately. They lay me down, and we're big body Benzes over here, and they have me on this like small like gurney like thing. So I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna fall over. Once I lay down, it all starts coming in. My body goes numb, and I don't even mean numb in the way that you maybe think. I mean, you know when your foot or your hand or anything falls asleep, and it's like that horrible like really bad needle, sparkly, tingly, ugly feeling. It's that feeling from literally here down. And naturally you want to like move your body to like get the feeling to go away, like wake your body up, you know, but you can't. You're paralyzed. You physically cannot move your legs. I tried, and I felt so restricted, and I did not know how claustrophobic I was going to feel. And because of that, my heart started to race, because I'm like, okay, this is too much. Like, I'm a control person. I need control. I needed control in that moment, and I didn't get any. And so I'm panicking. Then they dropped the curtain right here, and I'm like, oh, like when I tell you, I thought I was going to die from claustrophobia. I'm not fucking joking. Like, that was so intense. Like, I mean, I'm gonna have to go through that feeling again if I get pregnant, because once you have a C-section, you can only have C-sections. So I'm sure I'm gonna feel that again one day. But I mean, and I think it'll be better because I'll know, you know, what to expect in that moment. I had never been obviously through something like that, and it was a lot. I was just like, dude, I'm getting like, my heart felt like it was going to explode. Anyway, once I'm numb and everything's claustrophobic, my cousin comes in and she's sitting next to me, and I'm just like, dude, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, I feel like I'm gonna die. And then the doctor took an extra 15 minutes just to get there. But honestly, once he got there, things started going pretty fast again. And then I realized if I closed my eyes, it felt good. Like, it felt okay. But when my eyes were open, I was like, it was too much. But when I had my eyes closed, I felt like euphoric almost. I'm not gonna lie. It just felt like not as bad. I still felt I felt claustrophobic and euphoric together. So then time's going by, and I'm like, how much longer? And they're just trying to talk to me and things like that. And then all of a sudden the nurse goes, okay, talking to my cousin, you can go ahead and get your camera ready because the baby's about to come out. We couldn't take a video, unfortunately. But my heart, like, your heart drops, you know, like you get butterflies in your stomach even though you're numb. And it's like, oh my god, like, this is the moment. Like, this is the moment that I've been waiting for, that I never thought I was gonna get to ever see in my lifetime. I never thought I was gonna get pregnant, you know. Me and my man were together for 5 years on and off, you know, no protection, nothing. Like, I should have got pregnant if we're talking science a long time ago, but I never did. But God truly works in the best way, because she came when she was supposed to. My life now, that's a whole different story. But anyway, back to pregnancy. So then they're like, okay, here she comes. And my cousin stands up and I hear her. And I just literally, like, I can't even explain, like, what it feels like. It feels like immediately you're complete. Like, anything you questioned in life, you don't question anymore. Nothing is as important as it used to be. Like, there's only one thing that's important now. Anyway, I hear her crying, and my cousin's taking pictures, and she shows me, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm just so happy. Like, I just want to see her, you know? So they clean her up, and then they give her to my cousin, and then I can't hold my baby because they're sewing me back up and everything. But she brings her to my face, and it's just a feeling that I hope, I don't know, if you're watching this, I hope you get to feel that someday, because that's literally what life is all about, like, metaphorically and, like, literally. Nothing will ever top that moment. I promise you that. Nothing in your life will top that moment. I don't care. Anyway, that was beautiful. They sew me up, and then they also put staples in me, by the way. They put staples in me, and then they finish up. The doctor had just, you know, nonchalantly mentioned, yeah, you ruptured a little bit, but we got it under control. I'm like, okay, bro, if you're not worried, I'm not worried. I just want to get to, you know, meeting my baby and everything. So then they put me from the operating table onto a gurney, and then before we leave the room, they place her with me, and it's just, everything's complete. Everything in life is complete. There's no need for want. You have everything. Everything you need is right there. Like, that's it. For me, at least. I don't know. That's for me. And then they're rolling us to my room, and yeah, we get there. You know, they're setting me up. And then I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, but my sister did come. My sister got to come. She was the only one who got to come because it was late. I had my daughter she was born at 4:22 p.m. But I think by the time I got to the room, it was like 6 or something. And I don't remember when the hours for visitation stopped. I think it was 8. So anyway, my sister comes, she brings me my charger. My cousin stayed the night with me. I'm so forever grateful to her, by the way, like, for her to just, because she has kids, you know, she has a life, she has a family, and she sacrificed her time for me in that very, very deep moment. She was also with me the night my mom died. Like, my cousin, I will be forever grateful to her. Like, I literally love her so much. Like, I'm so glad that God made us cousins and put her in my life. You know, I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful, very thankful. So yeah, my sister came, then she had to leave. My cousin stayed with me. And then I was, you know, you just kind of like wait to see what's gonna happen, you know, like turn the lights off and everything. Oh, I'm completely skipping the most crucial part of this. We're gonna backtrack quite a bit here. After they placed my baby with me, I went to recovery room. I did not go to my room yet. I went to recovery room, and recovery room lasts 2 hours. That makes sense now, because I'm like, wait, she was born at 4:22, but sis was too late for the visiting hours, because it stopped at like 8, I think. But yeah, recovery room. This is where, I don't know, see? This is birth though. This is birth. You're gonna go through so much and you're gonna black out and forget everything that you go through because of how much drugs you're on if you have a C-section. So they take me to a recovery room with my baby, and then that's immediately we try to start breastfeeding. That was a nightmare. I had to use a nipple shield, and I just felt like my supply was not up yet, and I just seeing my daughter struggle was just like, I felt like a failure in that moment. I was like, just give her formula. I don't even care, just give her formula, because I just want her not, she doesn't know anything, you know, she only knows basic human feelings. So I was like, I just want her fed. So then she's in her little table, but before they placed her on her little table, we're trying to breastfeed, and I'm out of it, dude. Like, I don't know if you know about afterbirth, but you go into immense shaking. This may not happen to everyone. This happened to me. I'm literally like this. Like, I mean, it's not even funny. Like, I was shaking so bad, and then every time I like realized I was shaking, it got worse. And my cousin was like, you need to breathe. You need to breathe. Breathe through it. Take deep breaths. And deep breaths are going to help you, like, more than anything. Take deep breaths. Slow down. Like, slow your mind down. Your mind is going a million miles an hour. Slow her down. So as I'm trying to breastfeed my child, I'm shaking so bad, my cousin ends up having to press down on my breast to try and get milk out for the baby. And we had already had like a invasive moment when I was prepping for surgery. So this was just the cherry on top. But I honestly, like, in that moment, I wasn't even like insecure. I was just like, I really didn't even know what was going on. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was just so focused on not shaking. Like, it wasn't even funny. So anyway, after that, then they placed my daughter in her little like warm bed, heating bed. And then I'm just trying to get through the shakes. And then they're asking me a bunch of things. They're checking vitals. I can't remember everything, which sucks. I just remember being there, you know, looking over at her and just being so happy that she was healthy, that we both survived. That was a big fear of mine, not surviving birth. Like, for some reason I would die. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people told me that's normal, but it sucks. It's like debilitating because you just have no, not that you don't have any hope, but it's hard to be hopeful because you're so worried about this hyped up experience. You just want to get to that feeling, and if you don't make it there, you know, it's devastating. So, but we made it there. We're blessed. She's healthy still. I'm healthy. Like, we're good. Like, we are blessed. So yeah, after recovery lasted for 2 hours, then we went to our room. Then my sister came, etc., etc. So yeah, that's my birth story. If you guys want to hear how, I'm not even gonna say if you guys want to hear, I'm just gonna make the video. I'm gonna make another video explaining my stay and how much I dislike one of the other OBs. She's horrible. But anyway, that's for another story. This was my birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're a pregnant mother, thinking about being pregnant, whatever the case is, I really, really hope that this helps you, because through my pregnancy, the only things that I watched was prep for my baby, nesting videos, C-section videos, after labor videos. Like, I watched all of those. And it was fun for me. It was exciting. Like, it made me more ready to greet my daughter and be prepared and learn what I'm supposed to learn. You know what I mean? So I hope this video helps. I really, really do, because it's such a vulnerable time to be a new mom, and my story alone was intense, but we make it through. once you make it through all those trials and you finally meet your kid, like, I'm seriously telling you, everything falls into place. So thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.